Alright, hello everybody. This is my first video, my first review, my first unboxing, my first everything, I guess. The reason I felt I had to do it is because of this right here. This is a brand new wireless AC router from T-Mobile. Oddly enough, I was actually going to upgrade my router quite a while ago. I was looking at all the AC routers, looking at reviews. I have a wireless N router right now. The AC has a lot faster throughput. It also has a lot longer range, so you can connect from further away from the router. I was going to upgrade quite some time ago, and the cost of the ones I wanted was just too much. I couldn't afford it at the time. This is actually about a $200 or so router. As you can see, it's actually an ASUS brand, which is a good brand of router. This is, like I said, about a $200 router if you were to actually have to buy it. T-Mobile, for their customers, if you're a postpaid, which means you have a monthly payment versus a prepaid, if you're a postpaid T-Mobile customer, they're giving these away for free, not a penny. I didn't have to pay right now. I didn't have to pay a deposit. I didn't have to pay for the router. I don't have to pay a monthly leasing fee, nothing. They're giving them away for free. So what I thought I would do is just unbox it. We can see what's in there. I haven't opened it yet myself, so whatever's in here is a surprise to everybody, myself included. And then we'll see if I can do a video on hooking it up and replacing my old router. So here we go. Again, T-Mobile. T-Mobile giving away a router for free. It's amazing. It's called the Personal Cell Spot. Because what this one will do is allow you to make your cell phone calls over the Wi-Fi network versus the cell phone network. So if you have a weak signal inside your home with your cell phone, you can actually use this and make cell phone calls over your Wi-Fi network. And from what I've read, it does a very good job at that. So you have your little quick start guide that comes with it in English and Spanish. You have your antennas. Comes with 3 antennas. The router itself, oh so pretty. Let's take it out of the bag. And this is an ASUS TM-AC1900. That is the commercial version of this router. If it weren't from T-Mobile, that's the one you would be looking for in the store. And again, it's about $200. Also has the actual start guide, an Ethernet cable, and a power cable. That's pretty much all you need for a router. So that's it. Putting all that aside, it's actually a pretty nice looking router. It's got a nice little texture, diamond plate texture on the front, pretty neat. It's pretty. I don't know what kind of lights will be on it. We'll find that out when I set it all up. So I think that all that's left is actually to do that. Okay. So one thing I forgot to do, and what I wanted to do before I go ahead and do all the setup and actually get this thing hooked up to the internet, is show you all the connections that are available in the back and just how to set up the antennas and whatnot. So on the back, you can see here, we have the ability to hardwire or actually physically plug in 4 devices. And somebody's alarm is going off in the background, never mind that. Next to that, on this particular one, you can actually turn on and turn off the LED lights in the front. So let's say you have this in your bedroom, or maybe you have it in the living room when you have guests over and you don't want all the lights and stuff flashing on the front. You can turn off those LEDs without turning off the router itself. Next to that is your WAN port, the one that actually will plug in from your modem to the router. Well, I can't see because I'm looking backwards. And then we have a USB 3.0 port, a USB 2.0, and what's next? Next to that is your power plug, the power button, and then a reset button. And that's it on the back. That's all you. That's pretty much, I think, the standard configuration of plugs: 4 hardwired devices, a WAN port, a couple of USBs. With these, you can plug in hard drives and whatnot to be able to wirelessly access files Like maybe you have a bunch of video files, you can put them on there, access them from somewhere else. And on the front, we have all the different lights for all these back ports. So for the 4 devices you have plugged in, you will have, once this is plugged in, you'll have little lights blinking if they're being accessed. Same with all this. Anything plugged in, anything being used, data coming in and out, all these lights will start flashing. On the top we have our 4 plugs for our antenna, which I'll just go ahead and plug in now, I suppose. And according to the instructions, the best way to set these up is to have the center one facing straight up. And once these are plugged in, or once these are screwed in rather, as you can see here it has a little collar. Once that's tightened, the rest of the antenna can actually pivot without that collar moving. So once you have all 3 of these screwed in there and ready to go, tightened up pretty good, then they suggest that the optimal setup is to have, as I said, the center one facing straight up and these outside ones facing at about a 45-degree in opposite directions. I guess this is supposed to give you the best signal coverage. So, and actually about 45 degrees is where they actually stop, because it won't go down further than that. So that's about the full range of motion you're going to get is 45 degrees. And what I'm not going to do is film the actual hooking up, because all that is plugging in and unplugging things. I'm going to have to unplug everything from my old router and plug everything in. I actually have enough devices hardwired that I'm going to fill these up. So I'll have all 4 Cat 5 cables plugged in here. This one will be plugged in from my cable modem, and that's about it. I don't have any USB devices at the moment, so I'm just going to plug all this stuff in. I'll get it set up, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's all turned on. Okay, I've got it all plugged in. One thing I forgot to mention is on one of the sides of the router there are 2 other buttons that I didn't show you. One is a WPS button, which is for like your Wi-Fi security. That button also allows you to automatically connect to a computer wirelessly without having to enter a network key, which is how I got this connected. In the instructions it tells you to actually plug it into the router physically with a cable, which I didn't do. Instead I just used that WPS button on the side of the router to connect this wirelessly so I wouldn't have to run another cable from my computer. Because like I said, I've got enough other devices that I'm going to plug into it that all 4 of those ports are going to be filled. The other button that is on the side is a Wi-Fi on-off button. So if you're taking off, you want to leave the router on for some reason, but you don't want to have Wi-Fi capabilities, you don't want somebody trying to log into your router, you can just hit that button and it'll shut off the Wi-Fi for you. So once I connected, I followed the instructions here that show you that since I didn't plug mine in, if you did plug it in, it's supposed to automatically launch the setup page once you plug it in. I didn't do that, so it gives you the IP address to log into to be able to set up your router, which is what just came up on my screen. This just tells you the stats. It's 802.11 AC concurrent dual band, AC 1900, 600 megabits per second in 2.4 gigahertz and up to 1300 megabits per second in 5 gigahertz. 2 high-speed and high-power USB ports for network storage and multifunction printer support. 4 by gigabit Ethernet ports, 1 USB 3.0 and 1 USB 2.0 port for fast file and printer sharing. High-level current usage for superior download, gaming performance, and multi-client connections. So all it has here is a go, and you see here, it just looks like a quick 3-step setup process. So we'll hit go and see what it says. Alright, it's asking me for the router login name and the password, and this will be your login and password for, if not for your Wi-Fi, but for the router setup itself. If you want to go back in and change some of your settings, and I'm not sure what kind of settings these ones have yet because I haven't logged in, This is the setup that you will use, the password, login rather, and the password that you'll use to be able to get in to set up the router. Not, again, that's not for your, this is not the part for your Wi-Fi setup. It's not the SSID and the password you're going to use to connect your devices wirelessly to the router, but rather the password that you're going to use for this website to be able to set the router up. So I'll go ahead and put that in real quick. Actually, it does say right here, your router login information is used for accessing your router's administration settings. Router login information is also used to access additional features like FTP or file transfer protocol. And the default username and password is just admin and password. You're definitely going to want to change that so people can't get in and mess with your router or cause problems for you. Same with your SSID and the wireless passwords. You want to change those so people can't piggyback off of your Wi-Fi or get into your network, and just security is best. And it's also best to mix things up. Don't use words or names or dates, things like that. Most likely you can hear my baby in the background. He's not very happy right now, so sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up and we'll be right back. Okay, I've got that set up. Now the next screen is this is the actual Wi-Fi setup. This is the one, the name, the SSID or the name of your router that you're going to see when you try to connect to it, and also the password that you're going to use, or the network key as it's called. This one, as a dual band router, has two different SSIDs and two different network keys or passwords. One for the 2.4 gigahertz band and one for the 5 gigahertz band. What you can do is make those different if you want, or there's a button right here to copy the 2.4 gigahertz to the 5 gigahertz settings. So you can just set up one name and one password and then just copy that to the other one, so you, doesn't matter if you're connecting with a 2.4 gigahertz device, or a 5 gigahertz device, it'll be the same name and the same password. Or you can have a different name, but still have the same password if you want. Once you finish setting up your login and password for your administrative services, the next thing you're going to do is set up that SSID or your network name and the passkey or password that you're going to use to log in from other devices to get your Wi-Fi. You can, on the SSID, you can pretty much use anything you want. You can call it anything you want. I've seen people use funny things. You can use your own name, or you can just leave that as the default, which is just the name of the router itself, followed by some different identifiers, just automatic stuff. Up here on the top, you can either choose to accept their default wireless security settings, which usually is not a good idea, or you click no, and that's where you can enter in your own information down here. Once you come up with that, and with your network key or the password, again, you don't want to use anything that's too easy for anyone to guess. Otherwise, they'll be able to get into your network, and if nothing else, get free Wi-Fi from you. So you'll hit apply once you come up with your name and your passwords, and it's applying the settings to the router. And it's just reminding me that since I've changed the name, if I had things that were already connected to it, that anything connected to it is going to be disconnected because the name of the network has changed. And that I would have to go in and adjust anything that's connected for the new name. I actually did something kind of silly. It told, obviously I forgot that I had set this up wirelessly. It told me right here, like I said before, that anything connected to it is going to be disconnected, and I'm sitting here waiting for it to connect, but the name has changed, so I have to reconnect the computer. So it's going to ask me for the password. Finished configuring that, and then it came up with just a summary of what was done. It gave me my SSIDs and my passwords, my LAN address, my WAN address, all kinds of good information. And then it had me log in again. Oops, and this is asking if I want to save it, which I don't. And then it comes up with this, and this is, once everything is set up, this is the screen that you're going to see when you log into your configuration webpage. And for these routers, the ASUS routers, Looks like it's 192.168.29.1. And this can only be accessed when you're on the network. So if you go away somewhere else and try to, say, connect with your phone, you're not going to be able to connect to it. This has to be done from within range of the Wi-Fi router. Alright, again, here is the setup screen that you will see when you log in to the administrative functions for your router. This allows you to change some of your security settings. It has a bunch of different settings over here on the left side, different tabs for stuff. This is just your general information, your network map. It'll show you, if you want, you can see what things are connected to your network, connected to your USB. You can check your LAN IP, all kind. There's just a bunch of information and settings. It's really pretty good. At this point, I was going through each tab individually that's available on the left hand side here and showing all the options, but quite frankly the video would have been too long and there's quite a few options, so it would have gotten pretty in-depth. Suffice it to say, this router probably has all the options you're going to need. It's got every option I've seen available in top-end routers. It can do a lot of different things. You can see it's got parental controls. You can adjust, it's got traffic manager rather. You can do port forwarding, all that good stuff. So it has plenty of options. There's no point in going through every single one unless you really want to see that. If somebody needs that, go ahead and leave a comment and maybe I can do a separate video that just deals with all these different tabs and all the different options that are available. Alright, I hope this comes out okay, because my router sits actually behind my TV so that it's not terribly visible. There's all the LEDs going there showing that there are now devices plugged in. This is my internet from the ISP. That means my WAN is going. The next two that are dark here are the USB lights, which again I don't have anything plugged into those, so mine are dark. The next one over is the 2.4 gigahertz band lit up. The next is the 5. I don't know that I have anything hooked up using a 5 gigahertz right now. And then the power. And if you look on the back of the device here, there's a neat little ASUS LED, pretty neat. And right above that is that button to shut off, and I'll hit that right now. Shut off your LEDs, and that shuts off the lights in the back and the lights in the front. So again, if you have guests or something, or you just don't want to waste the power or don't want the lights flashing, you can hit that and shut it off. Okay, I hope you got a little something out of the video. If nothing else, the thing to take away from this is T-Mobile is giving away a totally free wireless AC router. So you can go out and get one if you are thinking about upgrading. If you don't have a router for some reason, or yours breaks, who knows, any reason you want to upgrade or get a new wireless AC router and you are already a T-Mobile postpaid, not prepaid customer, and again, the prepaid is if you go in and put $20 down and say, okay, I want to use this $20 worth of minutes, that's a prepaid customer. A postpaid customer is someone who has like a data plan and just pays the monthly bill. So if you're a postpaid regular T-Mobile customer, you can get a really good free wireless AC router right now. Normally this is about a $200 router, as I said. They used to have, I think, a $25 deposit fee. They're waiving that right now too. Brand new, totally free, awesome wireless AC router from T-Mobile. The only time they will charge you is if you cancel your service and you do not return the router to them. So again, it's free. They are letting you use it for free. It doesn't actually belong to you. If you cancel your service, they're going to charge you for it. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Go out and get yourself a brand new router and play with it. So far it's working good here. Please give me a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.